Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today at the Proving Ground circuit on BeamNG Drive, going to be, well, driving some more cars till destruction. Now, today's episode is themed around some ludicrously powerful specs of cars. We've got really powerful stuff and quite wacky stuff. This Grand Marshal is called the Stinger. It is powered by a V10 at the front. I think it's turbocharged. It's still rear-wheel drive. It's full-on race-prepared Grand Marshal, as you can see. But that does mean race suspension, which might not be good around a track like this, because that's often quite low and not very forgiving. And we're on a circuit that's breaks cars, basically. Not low and unforgiving is not what you want around a track like this. However, the Grand Marshal is a very good base vehicle. I think it led at one point. It's certainly still very high up on the leaderboard around this track. It's a strong car. It has done well at basically every circuit. Every destruction circuit, the Grand Marshal has always been high up on the leaderboard. I don't know if they've ever won, but I know they've done very well at all of them, which is unusual and is good. So, theoretically speaking, whoa dip. This should be quite good here. But, I mean, the suspension isn't going to like this. This track is punishing, and race suspension is sketchy. Now, we have lost bumpers. The front bumper is currently a little... It's not really interfering with the wheels doing their thing, so I don't want to try and node grabber it and pull it out, because I might actually puncture tyres and stuff. But there is in a little bit of an awkward place. I'm hoping it's going to just pop out over one of these bumps, but we'll have to wait and see. Don't go play in the gravel, please. Come on, Grand Marshal. Here we go. Now, spinners are not going to be a problem for this car, not at this stage. They might become a problem if it gets damaged. It's not the smallest car we've ever had around here, but likewise, it's hardly the biggest. So we shouldn't have too many issues with the spinners unless we get really busted steering. Now, we aren't going to be able to be flat out down here. I mean, this is the thing with the very fast vehicles. I have to drive a car as fast as it can go around this course, but these fast cars, I physically can't drive them hard through a lot of the places because, well, they just spin the wheels. I can't be flat out over that jump. I will clear the fence because this thing's very quick. So, yeah, we do have to, there's an element of caution that has to be taken just to keep the car on the road. I mean, that jump there, we actually still jumped a little bit long because we bubbled our way into the wall. Thankfully didn't clonk or break anything in terms of the steering or the wheels. It doesn't have any traction out here. I'm not sure what sort of tyres it's on. There might be slicks, which would potentially explain why we have so little grip. It's certainly some sort of race compound, I would imagine. It's not very good on the dirt. But, I mean, that does mean it's now tackling these bits sort of slower. Oh, God, can we actually get around that corner? I don't want to find the fencing. I don't want to hit the little bushes either. Some of them you can drive, some you can like phase through, they don't do anything. Some of them are a solid entity. They have broken cars in the past, or normally it's a car that's already broken, ends up out wide and gets a lot worse because of them. But there we go. We're coming towards the end of the first lap. Things are pretty good for this vehicle. I cannot get it to go in a straight line down there. Oh, we've lost a front wheel. That's a problem. And the wheel is still attached. Interesting. Oh, ow. Okay, the Grand Marshal with sport suspension having a bad time. It's definitely not a good sign. Not a good sign. Now, we do still have steering. This wouldn't be the first... Oh, it's an open... Why have you got an open diff on a bloody race car, you morons? If we lose a rear wheel, we are not surviving. It's not going to be able to put any power down. Oh, through the water we go. Now, the checkerboard is going to be a problem for us. Oh, because of that. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. It has taken out the radiator and all of that. I was hoping, much like we got through the water by kind of bouncing the car up, I was hoping we might be able to do that here, but we are not able to do that. We have to kind of scoot our way down that side. That's bad news. Now, the radiator's gone. It's going to overheat. Having lost a front wheel, my concerns currently are less of the overheating. I mean, it's steering and it's how much more damage are we going to have done to the car. The spinners are... You know what I said about the spinners? Unless we have real big issues, we should be okay. Well, we've got big issues now. We've got massive steering issues with the car. Sure. Okay. It's the turning left part that's the problem. Okay, we are through. We have still got enough steering. Actually, it's not too bad either. Nothing's ever quick through the spinners, but this one here is not too shabby. For a car missing a front wheel, it has still got enough steering. I mean, it's still perfectly capable of making it around the course. It's just not great. Here we go. I mean, we're still going to be going plenty fast enough for this jump even up here, which is good. We're still doing 65 miles an hour. I suspect what it is with this car is that sport suspension is good. And we do see sometimes that race suspension on cars is very strong. A couple of vehicles we've had with race suspension, it can bend, but it does sometimes stay together. However, it's also possible that, of course, we're asking the car to deal with a lot, and it may well be a case that the stresses put on the sport suspension in a certain way make it fail easier than a normal car. I don't know. Certainly, I wouldn't expect a Grand Marshal to lose a wheel on lap 1. I think the other Grand Marshal lost a wheel. I know it went out with steering failure. I can't remember if a wheel fell off entirely. But yeah, downside of a lot more power going to the rear wheels means it's, well, moving around a lot, so positioning it for the jumps is difficult. Combined with, obviously, suspension not happy dealing with this terrain, and off pops the wheel. Oh, we're going to go round again. Come on. Come on. Here we go. We're fine. I'm worried about the speed bumps at turn 1. We got kind of away with it last time, but I mean, it still did a fair old whack. I mean, shallow grave and the checkerboards are all going to be a problem. Things like the Toblerones, these jumps here aren't really doing much worse to the car. It's already pretty knackered, so these, unless the other wheel falls off, thankfully it doesn't. Yeah, these aren't really going to make it that much worse. Speed bumps might if it catches the front of the car badly. Oh, like that. No, that's the end. That's the end of it. The drive shaft, that's a goner. The vehicle is no more. It put up a fight. I mean, it did a lap, missing one of the front wheels. However, it's not the greatest distance. Okay, yeah, it's a very ridiculous vehicle and not at all suited for this. I kind of did expect it to survive a little bit longer. I didn't expect the wheel to come off on the kind of end of the first lap. That is a surprise to me. But yeah, that was a poorly car. It took an absolute battering and just too many hits. And with the front down like that, it's just all the shock is going through the chassis and bending it, and the engine, where the engine's mounted and everything, it just twists it to the point where, yeah, we snap the drive shaft. It's not the worst performance, though, from the car, at least. Up next, we have got the Vertex. Now, this is the Verticorn, I believe, is the name for the specification. Essentially, it's based on, well, the Hoonicorn. It is ridiculous. All-wheel drive. It is twin-turboed and supercharged by the looks of the engine. A lot of power, all-wheel drive, very, very low, has a massive wing. What could possibly go wrong with all of that? There's nothing could go wrong with that, really. I'm not going to run the Nitro. We don't need that. Now, the Vertex that ran around here, there's a FailRace version of it. This mod's got millions of configurations. FailRace version ran around here, and it didn't survive too well. I think wheels fell apart. This, I mean, I'm not holding out great hope for it in terms of suspension survival, because, I mean, already you can see how it's bouncing over. This is not designed to deal with this kind of terrain. This sort of terrain is ridiculous for anything. And I am worried just about normally crossing the checkerboard. It's fine, it's less fine, don't go sideways. In these sort of cars, going sideways across the checkerboard is going to be a death sentence. Let's not do that. Of course, there is a load of power if we can use it, but much like I said with the Stinger Grand Marshal we had, I just can't go near the throttle for a lot of the lap, because the car's so quick. This course is relatively technical. If you ignore the destruction element of it, these are tight corners. There's not all that much room for high-speed stuff anyway. Oh, we tweaked the steering. Car is pulling to the right. Nothing major. I mean, this is going to happen with these sort of cars. Oh, clonky, 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 crashy. We're fine through all of that. Can we unleash some fury down here? Again, never going to be able to get even remotely close to full throttle in this. Not only is there not the traction, but as I said, if I did, we'd just clear the fence up here anyway. We get the car down nicely. That looked a horrific impact for the rear wheels, but they're still attached. Ooh, that's a bump. I'm going to make the fence. Nothing too bad from that. Oh, I take that back. Is bad. Wait, oh, okay, no, we're fine. The wheel has just got stuck. It hadn't disconnected, it hadn't snapped off, but it had got bent the kind of wrong way. Thankfully, that's popped back into place, and we are good to go. That's helpful to know the wheel is going to bend but not snap, because it's probably going to take that sort of damage again around this course. Oh god, the rear tyre is phasing through the... both the rear side. The fact that they're phasing through the bodywork suggests that they've collapsed from the point where they were when they started. Not that there was much suspension travel, but there's now less. Oh, the wings come off! The wing couldn't survive it. The bumper is clinging on for dear life, but the wing, that couldn't survive a lap. Bounce, and maybe some more braking, I don't know. We're bouncing across there, though. Oh, God, car, please get under control. There we go, that's fine. I just have so little control over this. I've barely been near the throttle for a lot of the lap. I mean, it's still going very quickly around here, but yeah, chances of getting to full throttle in this car are pretty slim. If you do, it just spins the wheels anyway, because it's at such low speeds. Oh, might be able to... No. Oh, we're gone. Tried to save it, didn't work, and we are very sideways. Now, if I, for example, things like that, I'm allowed to grab reverse to correct a car from a silly spin. It's if we lose steering entirely. Like, if I can't physically make a corner without grabbing reverse, that's when we counted out for that one. Oh! Oh, bad! Bad things have happened. The fuel tank's being caught. The fuel tank is going to piddle away all of its petrol, and that's bad. It's also on fire, that's also bad. Oh, of course, when the cars catch fire, they burn the brakes to pieces. I think other damage goes on as well, maybe, but we don't have any brakes, so we're not actually going to be able to stop the car if we need to get on the brakes somewhere, like into here, for example. That could be the least of our concerns. I say the least of our concerns. It's going to run out of fuel, it's going to die that way. There's nothing I can do about it. We've just got to try and drive as far as we can, as quickly as we can. Oh! Until it fails. Not like that, though. Oh, no. Get to the ramp, get to the ramp. Come on, car. Come on, vertical. And you can do this. Oh, dear. No, wait, that's good. It landed on the side, but it wasn't too shabby. Oh, engine is about to expire. My steering's knackered as well. But if the fuel tank hadn't gone, I fear the steering was going to kill this soon. That is the end of the fuel in the car. In some ways, I'm surprised we haven't had more cars die with the fuel tank rupturing over that section. I mean, you can... no, I was going to say, is that the fuel tank at the back? I don't know where the fuel tank... I mean, the classic cars, I always expect them to fail with the fuel tank over the back, because you can literally see the tank hanging out the bottom. This kind of surprises me. I guess maybe just hit it in the right way. I mean, there was a big fire. Are the brakes glowing? Is that new? I don't remember that being a thing. I think they are. Huh. That's cool. Yeah, there was a big fire while we went around. I mean, the whole car didn't get engulfed in flames. I guess it was the fuel that was burning, and now that's gone. There's nothing left to burn other than the brakes. But it was a spectacle. We haven't had a fiery car for a while. This track hasn't really led to many car fires. But it could be worse in terms of this, and it goes better than the normal, the standard or the FailRace Vertex, I believe. But yeah, fuel tank gone. That is going to kill a car quite quickly. The final vehicle to tackle the course today is an SBR4. This is the fastest electric version of the car. What is it, like the SBR4 800D or something? I can't remember now. I literally just looked at the screen a second ago. Whatever it's called. It's a fast dual motor electric car. So, fuel, not going to be a problem. I don't think you can kill the batteries and have them go flat. Overheating, not going to be a problem. We don't have radiators in this one. While yes, I am aware batteries and electric stuff can overheat in a different way, that isn't something that is simulated in Beam as far as I am aware. I mean, I watched Formula E the last few seasons, and yes, they overheat, and all the batteries can get into trouble basically still. Oh, the driver's seat looks very wobbly. That does not look comfortable in there. That would be a weird thing with broken. Hold on. Yeah, the driver's seat looks like it's come slightly loose. Maybe a few bolts have fallen out from the jump. It's just shaking around. That's that's a new one. Ooh. We don't steer very well up there. What happened? It's got a load of understeer. Huh. Anyway, yes, overheating not going to happen around here. What is likely to happen is probably losing wheels. And I don't think we could even have conventional sort of the drive shaft failure, because I think the motors... Are they in the wheels? Is there maybe one at the front and one at the back? And I don't know if I can brake however they're connected. I don't think that's a thing that can happen. I mean, it probably can, I just don't know how it is. So, I mean, we're mostly going to be looking at wheel failure here. We're looking at suspension and steering. Potential for a bent chassis. And I think that's what killed an electric SBR4 at the Baja Rama circuit. I think the chassis got so buckled it stopped being able to drive. Much as we saw with the convertible Piccolino a little while back, around here, where the chassis just doesn't let the vehicle carry on anymore. Basically beaches itself. How have I lost both my tyres? What? Did I flat spot them? No, that shouldn't... Like, did I burst them trying to get the car stopped? Unlikely. If it is, I've never seen that before. Maybe it clipped through a weird bit of terrain because I was there at a different angle. Must be a tiny bit of terrain it caught on or something. I don't know. That's a weird one, why those tyres went. They just gave up the will to carry on, it seems. Some speed over there, that's fine. That's annoying because that's just limited our steering. It's not, you know, the worst thing in the world. It's certainly driving better than the Grand Marshal that lost a wheel. It's just unhelpful, really, that sort of stuff. It means the car's not as precise to control anymore, and we've got this amount of speed. You do want a car that's good to drive. The all-wheel drive is at least making it tolerable on the dirt, and it's not quite as powerful as the Vertical, so we can actually use some of the power. Oh god, it doesn't steer very well there. Oh, I was trying to get the nose up. Oh, we're going to go for a spin. We can save that. There we go. Camera didn't help with the recovery, but it was a smooth recovery. Oh god, for the SBR4. Maybe not hit that. I say not hit that with so much force. I thought, oh, rollover. It's our first rollover of the day. Is it going to dig it in the gravel? Oh, yes it is. Lovely stuff. Thank you, car. Oh, okay, just making sure I hasn't broken anything at the front. The front subframe is looking dangerously exposed. Also, I was going to say engine-wise, I don't know what we have in the back of the car. Looks like there's definitely a motor. The engine is normally in that glass compartment. Looks like there's a motor back there. You also notice suspension-wise. Oh, no turning on there. Now, suspension-wise, the rear of this car is pushrod, which is very unusual. Oh, front motor is broken. Uh-oh. Okay, I've never seen that before. Oh, my time of driving the electric vehicle, so we're now a rear-wheel drive. Oh god, a rear-wheel drive SBR4. Make the corner, thank you. Well, I mean, I did say the front subframe was looking suspiciously low, and I guess the motor was sat, you know, with all the weight in these, you want it as low as possible, and I guess it's sat low in the car as it's running over the checkerboard, which is low enough to get caught on one, and that's busted one of the motors, so we are now rear-wheel drive. Okay. I think it'd be very difficult to actually kill the rear motor. The back of the car here is pretty tough from what we've seen, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you could, but you tend not to take so much damage on the rear of a car. It tends to be more on the front, and the back of this is quite well protected. You don't normally see an engine failure with one of these, so this could be on for a good run. I'm going to say that much. The steering is, I guess, my primary concern now. Oh, I'm making mistakes now that we've gone from a very powerful all-wheel drive car to... I mean, it's slightly less powerful, I guess, because the power from the front motor's not included, but it's now rear-wheel drive on dirt. And if the vehicle's sliding around at the wrong time, and you can be in a lot of trouble. We've seen that before with cars sliding across the checkerboard in particular. You lose the back end and you clip one of those, it'll tear a wheel off. Not every car, some cars are strong enough to be okay with it, but that's a concern potential, or any of these jumps here really. Ooh, come on. I think we've got some steering damage now as well. It's pulling a little bit. It's not, again, nowhere near the worst we've dealt with, but it is something that's happening. The front is so busted that it's, I mean, it's just clonking the ground every time on the front end. I fear we may be in for some trouble with this car in the not too distant future. Get away from that post. How are we doing? Okay, bananaing of the chassis. The front is a lot lower than the back, but it's not... Oh, that's the sort of thing we don't want to do. That's the sort of thing that's going to break wheels. I thought I was being sensible. I thought I was good to get to that level of acceleration. I wasn't. Just let go, and it let go very quickly. You just got to bear in mind that the car's not set up to be a rear-wheel drive car. So handling is always going to be a little bit janky. Oh, we're beached in the sand. Cars can normally at least try and pull themselves out. So I am allowed to use the node grabber if a car gets stuck in scenery. Oh, I left it in park. That didn't help. But yeah, if the car gets stuck in scenery like that, I'm allowed to get the node grabber to drag it out. Because it didn't go into there because I couldn't steer the car. It went into there because it bounced around awkwardly on a landing, and I wasn't aware of stuff. Ooh. Okay, so you can break those bits. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant because we've already lost the... Huh. I didn't know that. It might be different depending on what sort of electric car you've got. I guess they probably all have different setups and how it works. This is now really not enjoying... Well, yeah, all the front's gone. Basically, every lap around, the front gets lower and lower to the ground. It just smashes up more and more of the vehicle. Good thing we have a motor in the back, really. Oh, God. It's going to... I don't know what it's going to do to this car. This is a weird one. Oh, we're going to go round. I mean, you can actually see the motor has completely come off. It's actually just moving around almost freely in there. We might at some point end up spitting out the motor at the front. That would be a new one. I mean, of the vehicles that have gone today, this is going the furthest. Oh, God, understeer. Chronic understeer. Nope. Okay. Just gotta have to make an attempt at getting across the bumps, but it just got fired out of that. It's alarmingly quick. You don't always realise how quick it's going because it's electric, but it is very quick, this car. Come on. Oh, God. Big crunch. I mean, the backs come up. You can see, I think that's the motor in there, just about. You can see, has it smashed the glass? No, the glass might still be there. I don't know. Difficult to tell. Very difficult to tell. Probably should focus on the driving as well as having a look through the back window. It's always helpful to know what level of damage you're dealing with, but yeah, also making sure you don't drive into a wall is good. Please turn, car. We need to try and get off here with some speed. Well, that was some speed. We brushed the wall. Front wheel's doing okay. The checkerboard is my big concern at the moment. These jumps here don't really seem to be doing too much. Like the front, kind of like the front structure is taking a lot of the hits, but the checkerboard, it's directly going into the underside. The front structure goes over them, so, and that's what's tearing the car apart at the moment. If the rear starts collapsing, we're going to be in trouble because it will then do the same to that. Although I guess maybe the front end will bounce it over. So because the front's so broken, the front hits, let's say, the speed bump and launches the car in the air, so the back doesn't get caught. Oh, no, we're fine. Oh, is that leaning now? Is the car leaning? Try to figure out. No, maybe not. Might be a little bit. It's definitely driving funky as anything now. Oh no, is it towed out the rear wheel maybe, or towed in? The rear wheel's at a funny angle on the right hand side. Oh, we just wheelied our way over there. That's not good. Don't steer when that happens. Oh, checkerboard. What are you going to do to my poor car this time around? Not much. Okay, well that's... Oh, it's not good. Oh, the other side's broken now. Oh dear. All of our power is going through rear wheels that are barely clinging on to life. So, we're rear-wheel drive. We have a lot of power still going on, and the only things trying to deal with the power aren't properly connected to the car anymore. Well, one's completely busted, the other's not at a healthy angle. So it now crabs. It's horrible to drive. At least the steering... We've got no front tyres, remember, but the steering is still okay. Oh, God. Crunch and clonk over there. I'll try to see if I can... Oh! See anything wrong with the springs on one side. I don't know. I don't know enough detail to tell if they're busted or not. So whether that side's lower. If it is like lower than normal, the fact that the other wheel's now snapped at a funny angle makes it a far bigger concern than whatever might be going on with the right-hand corner. This is all the checkerboard, basically, that's doing the damage to this car. And I'm really concerned about tackling it again, because every lap it's getting harder and harder to drive, which means trying to get it across the checkerboard in a manner that doesn't tear a wheel off is harder and harder. I think we're going to end up at one-wheel drive very soon. And I don't know if it's going to be happy with that. There's something else has gone in that left corner as well. It's not just the wheel bent. It doesn't have any... Okay, the rear left has no suspension left on it, basically. It's in place, but it doesn't have any... Yeah, it's just kind of hanging loosely. So we've got one corner left with suspension. We've got one good corner, the rear right. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is the best corner left on the car. That's fine. I guess we're going to have to try and protect that if we can. That's a big hit across there. Can we even keep it in a straight line heading up towards this jump? Just about, but what's it going to do on the landing? Okay, we're all good. We're all good. Checkerboards. Oh, that's a weird way to take a corner. Ugh. I mean, we got to cross it. Now it feels... Oh, it doesn't feel very good. What is... Has that wheel moved more? It might have shifted more. And this is almost full-on crabbing its way around the circuit. I mean, it's getting up to these corners, and I don't know what it's going to do at any given time. Oh, just didn't want to steer then. The front left is very poorly. Okay, the right-hand side of the car is better off than the left-hand side of the car, but only just. Oh, this is where the pain is about to come in, I think. We're going across here. Oh, it's just everything on the underside is getting caught here. At least that time. I mean, we're a bit slower across there, but oh god, it's now like wheel hopping its way. The wheels barely touch the floor properly anymore. The front left wheel is bent all the way to the left. The right is a little bit bent to the left. Oh my god. Crash our way across there. It's fine. Oh, it's not fine. We lost steering. Steering is gone. Unless I can miraculously... Now, the car is not off the course yet. So we might be able to drag it forward a little bit. Oh, it's come back to life. Yes, okay. Ish, it's come back to life. Oh, no. I've got to negotiate the spinners with a car that doesn't... Oh, no, wheel! I need you to work now. Oh, just... Oh. I mean, I've got to be super careful with this car now, because this could easily go into the fence somewhere and me not be able to recover it. It does have some sort of steering, but it's not fully functioning, and every so often the wheel just like pops back. Oh, it's lost a lot of important structure in that front left corner. Well, this is wonderful. This is just what we needed. I've also just noticed the fuel level in this. The batteries, I guess, could die? By the looks of it. Oh, we've lost the rear left axle is gone. Do I have any drive? No, I do not. I'm not surprised the rear axle went. Well, the rear, yeah, it's gone. It's done. I'm amazed that doesn't allow it to be a one-wheel drive. I would have thought it might have done with this, but it doesn't. Yeah, that would never have won, because I think the batteries would never have lasted long enough to get around, but it is a little bit irrelevant. While it was running low on the battery, yeah. That's a wreck. That was a cool run, and I gotta say, it took a hell of a battering there. That was a really, really cool run. It survived a lot of punishment, but I'm not surprised to see that wheel go. It's Checkerboard. Checkerboard did all of the damage in this one. Yes, the shafted jump killed it at the end, but yeah, it was all from hitting stuff on the underside of the car, basically. That was spectacular. I'm going to go with that. So, we are on to the leaderboard, and we have a new entry into the top 10. It's 9th place for the ESBR4. It was a good show from the electric car. At the end of the day, the suspension just couldn't deal with mostly the checkerboard. Once it started getting damaged, I think it just hit on that section more and more until eventually it just broke everything. I should say as well, some of the distance indicators on today's cars are a bit wonky. The distance indicator the game gives us is based on wheel rotations. Well, these are very powerful cars. They spin the wheels a lot. Some vehicles are worse than others. It's not 100% accurate, which is why we have the Stinger. For example, the Grand Marshal is 45th place for that. Not a bad showing for the car. As I said, Grand Marshals are generally quite strong, but that race version had suspension issues, shall we say. Technically, yes, the drive shaft popped and that was what stopped it moving, although a lot of the damage was done when the front wheel came off. The front wheel has still been on. I don't think the drive shaft would have gone when it did, but yeah, that just wasn't quite strong enough to keep the wheels on the cars over those repeated bumps. We have to go a little bit further down to find the Verticorn. That is a 57th place for that. Spectacular failure. The checkerboard actually caused some real issues today. In fact, technically all three cars took very, very heavy damage. The fuel tank was ruptured on the Verticorn. The, was wheel issues on the ESBR4. I guess the Grand Marshal took... Well, the radiator was whacked, so it caused some issues. I got distracted slightly, but there we go. Yes, the monstrously powerful cars put on an interesting show. There's no doubt about that, but they did struggle to survive around this course. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.